The following episode was recorded on March 19th, 2021. It's the 5th annual predictocast Oscar Prediction Special. 2020 was a year that changed how we watch movies, but will it change how we choose the winners? Your intrepid hosts make their picks for this year's big day with the help of a special guest. Who could it be? And will they make good picks? There's only one way to find out. And now, here's your hosts, Josh and Skinner. Hello and welcome to the 5th annual, I believe, predictocast Oscar Prediction Special. We've been doing this since 2017. So that would be 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21, yeah, it's 20. It's the 5th annual. I had to do the math.
20, I was going to say 21st annual. And I was like, that checks out.
I had to do the math. It's been a weird year, since we did our Oscar special last year, because last year when we recorded the Oscar special, it was pre-pandemic. The Oscars happened a couple of weeks before everything shut down. So we actually went to Oscar parties with our friends and watch them play out. And this last year happened. And I will say that I've been very disconnected from movies because it's been, at this point, we are recording this right after the nominations have been made. So a little bit in advance of the actual ceremony, which was pushed back this year because of COVID and whatnot. But I haven't been in a movie theater in a year. So it's really weird for me to be talking about big Oscar movies. I don't know about you, but
as for all the last 5 years, the running theme is I haven't watched any of the movies. I don't watch any movies that we're not doing for the podcast.
True.
And our podcast episodes generally not on Oscar quality movies, but
typically no.
Usually because other people in our circles are talking about them more. Because they're out and about and doing things in years where we're not hiding in our houses and afraid of death more than usual. I get part of the zeitgeist of things. And this year, all I know is that Mank was a meme for a day.
Yeah, there were that's one that I still haven't seen. I like David Fincher a lot. I would consider him, one of my favorite directors. I like pretty much everything he's made, but for whatever reason, and I like Citizen Kane, but for whatever reason, that movie just didn't really appeal to me for I don't know why. So I just haven't sat down to watch it yet. And I think that it is the weird factor of it being available on Netflix, which is such a stupid thing, but I know that it's kind of a real sensation because I know other people have said similar things that when a movie is available on streaming, it kind of, I don't want to say it lessens the impact of it, but it makes it, to me, it sort of makes it less important in a weird way, which I think that's a weird thing to say. But if I had been able to see Mank in a theater, I definitely would have seen it probably opening weekend, but I just haven't gotten around to it for whatever reason.
I think there's a real thing to that. Like when a lot of TV went streaming and binging, watching and everything, I kind of stopped watching TV shows entirely. Because nothing in TV. I'm sure TV is better than that. And I have not been using my time better. Trust me, I haven't. But too many choices. And I don't choose anything. It's kind of like as a kid, you get one video game in the summer and it sucks, but you play it all summer. And now you can go on your PC and buy 15 games for $5 and then never play any of them because they're not important to you anymore.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. It's sort of been devalued in a weird way. I will eventually watch it, and I have watched when I was looking at the list because I didn't even really pay attention to what was nominated until we kind of decided we would record this. It's been it's only been about a week since the nominations came out, so we're still getting at it pretty fresh when we're recording this, but. And it won't come out for a little while, but I was, looking at the list and I was like, oh, I actually have seen a lot of these movies. I just haven't seen all of them. And then there were also movies on there that I had never heard of. Like, what the fuck is this? There's a Pinocchio movie that came out in 2020, apparently.
I look at that and I think about, like, I'm glad it's apparently good enough to get nominated for something, but that strikes me as like the Robin Hood movie, and the Tarzan movie that came out that only exists on TNT in the evenings. Like every time they come, I see that like I'm scrolling through the channels trying to find something to watch TV, and I don't end up watching anything.
Is that the Robin Hood with Jamie Foxx and
that exists?
Yeah, I saw that movie. It's not very good. It's kind of boring.
But thanks to having a kid, I've seen one or two of the movies that are aimed at kids.
Yeah, the animated films.
Oh, I also saw Mulan.
Oh, okay. I have not seen that.
Not
yet
animated. It was, not as it is what it is.
Yeah, of course.
It's nominated for something. So
all right. Well, we've gotten our little preamble out of the way. So let's go through this list of nominees, and let's see what we think is going to pull it out in this weird year for movies. Like, I mean, obviously the vaccine has started to get rolled out now to more people, still not to everybody, but it's making its way through. And, at this point, neither you or I have gotten a vaccine yet. Hopefully that'll happen soon in the next couple of weeks, maybe, or months, or who knows how long. Fingers crossed, for weeks. But yeah, maybe eventually by the summertime or early fall, we'll be able to go back to the movies again, which would be cool. I love going to the movies. I did it pretty much every weekend for a very long time. I had the AMC their version of Movie Pass where you could go to, multiple movies in a week. And it was like, there were weekends when I would see 3 movies like for $20. And it's like, this is amazing. And I haven't been able to do that in a year, and it's been very strange. But let's go through these movies. Let's see if we can do our jobs as predictor masters. I don't know what that is. We've never called ourselves that on the show.
I mean, we should put that into the intro of every episode.
Yes,
we go on.
We are
when we start season 4.
We are
season 5.
Season 5. We are predictor masters.
Predictor masters.
That could have
been the name of the show.
That is a clumsy name.
It also sounds vaguely lewd. I like that you've dated this podcast by mentioning AMC Movie Pass, which seems like a million years ago.
But it's coming back. They've been. AMC is a huge theater chain, so they've let us know that they're not going to. They're not going to start it back up until the theaters are officially reopened. But the pass will still be there. So I'm looking forward to that $25 expense a month again. But let's start here with Best Visual Effects, a category that neither you nor I could remember having been part of the previous Oscar episodes that we've done.
We literally Googled this to make sure that it wasn't new, but we literally have talked about it every 5 years. It's been around since the Oscars have been around.
Yeah, it's had different names, but I think it's been Best Visual Effects since like the 60s. And for some reason, I just could not remember. I was like, is that a new category? Are they finally nominating special effects masters? And I was like, no, you idiot.
What is with you and masters today?
Films are masterpieces. I think that's what I'm thinking of.
And our first nominee is Love and Masters.
No, it's Love and Monsters, a movie that I don't know anything about. There's The Midnight Sky. I think that's the George Clooney movie. I don't totally know anything about that either.
And we can't Google in at this point. It's already done. It's live to tape.
Yeah, we're gonna try to go off of what we know or what we've heard. So I think that'll make this a little interesting because we're not gonna try to look up anything. We're just gonna go with it. Mulan, which you said you've seen, I have not seen yet.
I've seen some of.
Okay,
I walked in and out of the room, but there's magic in it. That's special effect.
All right, there you go. The One and Only Ivan. I don't know anything about that. And Tenet. Which I did see, didn't really care for. And it's interesting it is definitely a visual effect, but it's mostly just reversing the footage. That is what a lot of that movie is.
In real life, you can't make time flow backwards, so you have to do an effect for it. I wonder if FX2 won this award back when it came out in 91.
I, you know, I feel like
what? Let me look up.
oh,
what
you can look that up.
FX2
We can't look up what the movies are, but we need to find out if FX2 won an Academy Award or not.
It's Wikipedia does not mention any awards won for this movie. It does mention the movie debuted at number 1. It doesn't say what its box office was.
FX2.
FX2. So it appears to have, as far as I can tell, at a glance, it did not win any Academy Awards.
When did FX2 come out?
It came out in 1991, May 10th. It's how does that line up with your birthday?
That was 7 days before my 6th birthday.
You'd think by now we'd have an FX6.
We should, but also Terminator 2 came out in 91, so I don't think that FX2 was going to win.
Do you think they were like they saw that trailer and like shit?
Yeah, they were fucked. So, all right, visual effects. I'm going to go with. You know what? I'm going to go with Tenet. I didn't care for the film, but I thought that the effects were interesting. I thought that it was a really interesting way to do that with a very sort of lo-fi take on that, just showing kind of going back in time to the heyday of cinema and in-camera effects, and just, you know, reversing the footage and showing what you can achieve with something so simple. So I'm going to pick that.
I have no idea what Tenet is about. I keep thinking it's called Tenet.
It's about time.
It always is. I'm going to go with Mulan as like just A, I have seen parts of it, and B, as some way to salvage its legacy, because it does not have a good one at this moment.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, maybe that's for good reason. I don't know.
Disney has never cared about salvaging a legacy for good reason.
True. All right.
Okay, so
I'm making a note of these. I'm making a note of these predictions and awards, so we can keep track of them to see if we're right or not.
Make sure we stay on our master list.
Shut up.
I almost forgot. So we have some holes in our knowledge this year. So I actually used some of my connections.
Oh shit! I cannot believe I forgot to do that in the intro. Holy shit! I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, we were busy. It's the nominations just came out last week.
Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed.
Well, fuck. You know, I'm from Canada. I have some Commonwealth connections, and I really wanted to get a big cinephile in this episode because we had some holes in our thing. Somebody who has had some time to watch some movies.
I'm so embarrassed. Oh my god.
So on the line today for the rest of we won't ask him to get back on visual effects, but for the rest of the time we have on the line Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. He will be joining us, making his predictions. He's watched all the movies, every single one. He has a free Netflix subscription. He told me. I don't know what the UK gets, but he gets screeners and stuff. So he will be on the line. And welcome to the call, Prince Philip. Oh, he's wearing sunglasses. He's looking very energetic and charismatic with those sunglasses.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, welcome. Thank you for joining us, for being here.
Yeah,
it's a great honor.
The fucking Prince of Edinburgh. Sorry to swear in front of you, Your Highness, but you know, I can't believe. Anyways, he's here for now, and he'll be joining us on all the rest of the predictions. He's a prediction master as well, an old school one.
Well, speak for yourself.
All right, moving on to the next category. It's Best Production Design. We've got The Father, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, News of the World, and Tenet. So this one I have seen 2 of the films on the list. I've seen Tenet and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I quite liked Ma Rainey. It's kind of a bummer of a film, but it's still really well acted. Production design was pretty good. Full disclosure, my company actually made some stuff for the production. We print a lot of wallpaper and set stuff. So we did do some things for that movie. So I mean, I'm a little partial to it, and I think that's probably which way I'm going to go.
That's extraordinary.
I mean, you have to go with your gut and your wallet sometimes. I didn't work on any of these films in any way, yeah, but I'm gonna go with Tenet on this one. I think they're just gonna load that one up on the design awards.
That makes sense. I mean, it's interesting. I guess it's an interesting look. There's some unique stuff there. But I guess before we move on, we should ask our guest, Prince Philip, what's your pick?
Cups and saucers. Well,
I mean, you've seen all the movies and we haven't, so like that it's a broader look than we have. But so let's hope he doesn't destroy us on these predictions.
I know it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna be pretty embarrassing if our guest comes in and just blows us out of the water.
I mean, we're like, Prince Philip should have been on the show all the time. We're like, well, he's a busy man.
That's totally true. All right, let's move on to best makeup and hairstyling. Something that Prince Philip knows about.
The Prince and I have texted back and forth about this one quite a bit. He's got some. Yeah, I know you're joking there, but he had some really.
What you did,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know.
Is
yeah,
what it was competing against.
He has some real
refrigerators.
Strong feelings in this one. On this one, we have Emma is up for it. Hillbilly Elegy, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank. I know he's making faces, Josh.
I have the monitor up, and he's just grimacing at all of these titles.
I know oh god, he's probably not going with Ma Rainey.
But there's one more.
He's got and Pinocchio.
Oh, see, now he smiled at that one.
He did.
So I guess we know which way that Philip is going to lean here. Prince Philip, excuse me.
The Prince. For me, I'm going to go with Emma because of the hairstyling and makeup movie. Just always go with a movie called Emma.
All
right. Well, that's interesting. I mean, I didn't see Hillbilly Elegy, but I know that Glenn Close wears some big. I think she wears some weird prosthetics in that one, like a big nose or something, which is interesting. Ma Rainey's got some good makeup, and everybody looks like they are sweating to death in that movie, which is really really puts you in the headspace of kind of the emotions of these characters. I haven't seen Mank and I haven't seen Pinocchio. I'm assuming that Pinocchio
also has some big nose prosthetics.
Probably, yes.
Phil, I get it. He's doing the nose thing.
So I'm gonna go. I've seen some stills from Mank and they look interesting. I'm gonna go with Ma Rainey again. I think that the makeup in that is really and the hairstyle is just, they really do a good job of making those characters feel very lived in that era. And you're going with Emma.
And Prince Philip, I think we know what you're going with.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Okay.
And
all right. Well, it made sense the way he reacted to the nominees in that category. So,
when he was doing that, there was, there's a guy tapping the back of his head, moving it back and forth while he was, but it seemed he was very into it.
Yeah.
You couldn't see it on the. We were going to make this a video podcast because we do have a guest, but we couldn't clear it with the Queen. So
yeah, no, she didn't want that. All right. So next we're moving on to Best International Feature Film. We have Another Round. We have Better Days, Collective, The Man Who Sold His Skin, and Quo Vadis Aida. I'm not saying that right.
Probably not, but we're lucky that there wasn't more that you could get wrong. Phil, it's just laughing his ass off at you.
So I don't know much about these, unfortunately. My international cinema consumption this year has been pretty much zero. These are things that I might have seen if I had been able to go to a theater because, sometimes they do have those limited runs. I've heard really good things about Another Round, which is currently actually playing on Hulu. Stars Mads Mikkelsen, so probably worth a watch. I've heard it's pretty enjoyable. So I'm going to go with that one just based on word of mouth and the fact that I have actually heard of it.
I am as well going with Another Round. I think that the voters will be more familiar with it than a lot of the other ones. I know they're supposed to watch all of them, but I don't trust them.
Yeah.
But once again, Prince Philip here has seen all of these. He has the time on his hands. He's been laid up in a hospital bed a couple times this year, but he's doing great. He's back with us now. So he's had some time to watch it. So Phil, what do you think is going to win this one?
If you think you're running out, you go into
Well, that's I mean, that makes sense, I guess. I from your perspective, since you've seen them all. So,
I mean, he also pronounced it wrong, I think, but still. All right. The best film editing is up next. Got a couple here. I haven't seen any of these, but once again, Prince Philip has. I don't know if Josh, if you have or not, but up first is The Father. Then we have Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, The Sound of Metal. It's actually just Sound of Metal. I put the in front of it to help myself say it. And The Trial of the Chicago 7. So this one, I do not know anything about any of them, but I'm going to go with The Sound of Metal. I keep adding the Phil, I know I keep adding the movie. Anyways, Sound of Metal, I think I'm going with that. That just sounds like a movie that would have good film editing.
I mean, I would agree with you. I think that's what I'm going to go with too. I've seen Nomadland, Promising Young Woman, and Sound of Metal from this list of nominees. Sound of Metal is really good, and the editing is pretty great. It's about a drummer who starts to lose his hearing and just kind of dealing with everything that he's going through there. I did like the editing in the other two films that I saw. I didn't, nothing that I remember specifically jumps out, although Promising Young Woman does have a few really well edited sequences. But yeah, Sound of Metal is pretty great. I think it's just a good film in general. And Philip, sorry, I almost moved on without asking you.
We were. I think it was then, I think it was the day after.
Well, that's a pretty sound reasoning, I think, for that. All right, moving on to Best Documentary Short Subject. We've got Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation, Do Not Split, Hunger Ward, and A Love Song for Latasha. So, unfortunately, I have not kept up with the best documentary short subjects. I don't know any of these, unfortunately. I don't know anything about any of them. So I'm just shit out of luck here.
You know that Prince Philip actually created that saying?
Oh,
yeah.
Well, holy
they would say that.
Lord. I mean, that's amazing that we have the person here who.
Oh, he just told me to say that to you to throw you off.
Oh, God damn it. He did do it. He threw me off big time. God. You got me.
He's got such a poker face on the call here. I wish you guys could see it. The sunglasses really help, though.
God, what a jokester. Well, since I want to be a completionist and I don't want to leave a category blank. I'm just going to go with...
Oh, an ambulance outside my house. You know about that, Phil, right? Oh, go on. Sorry to interrupt you.
I'm going to go with Concerto is a Conversation. I just like that. I like the sound of that. I bet there's probably some beautiful music included in there. So that's what I'm going to go with.
I'm going to go with that one as well because if nothing else, it's a statement that I agree with. So,
well, I guess that is a good way. I mean, we're lining up a lot here. I think it's because we don't know what these are. So we're just.
I mean, I would feel really embarrassed if this wasn't basically most years.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
And we did bring in a ringer this year. Our good buddy here, Phil. What do you you've seen all these? What do you like?
14th. Well,
all right. Well,
as far as I know, as good as any of them.
Yeah,
by Anders Hammer, not Army Hammer. That's good.
That is true. We want to keep him far away from anything. If it was Army Hammer, he would definitely want to split some things.
I know. Oh God. Yeah, Phil. I know you like him still. It's cool. Guilty until proven innocent. Anyway.
All right. Moving on to Best Documentary Feature. We have Collective. We have Crip Camp. We have The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, and Time. Interesting. We've got Tenet on the list with a bunch of times, and now we've got Time. We've got a documentary and a narrative.
This is good time filling. Well, because you don't know any of these about, do you?
I don't, unfortunately. I'm a fool.
Okay, 'cause I don't either. I'm going to go with My Octopus Teacher because that is the best name of any of the movies on the entire nominees.
I think I'm going to do that too. I think we're lining up just because the names sound interesting and also because we don't want to take too much time away from our guest and we just want to get these done as quickly as possible. So, Philip, please give us your idea on who's going to win this category.
It doesn't have to be gothic.
I'm surprised at that one, honestly.
Yeah, me too, actually. All right, so next category is Best Cinematography. We've got Judas and the Black Messiah. We've got Mank, News of the World, Nomadland, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So I have seen on this list Nomadland and Judas and the Black Messiah. Both pretty good films that I liked a lot. I think I'm going to go with Judas and the Black Messiah. I really did enjoy that movie a lot. And
Phil's shaking his head about that one.
Not particularly. I mean,
yeah, I know. But I mean, we knew that might be an issue. But I think that one's pretty good. I'm happy with that choice.
I'm going to go with Mank on this one because it would really make people laugh about 7 months ago, wherever this came out.
Yeah.
Just by saying the word Mank.
It was in December, by the way, so only 3 months ago.
It does it even like time? What does it even mean anymore?
I mean, it means nothing. All right, Phil.
Phil, what do you got?
I wasn't paying much attention.
I like that he has this T-shirt on that says "film," but it's PHILM.
Yeah, he is like. If there's anything else about Philip, the one thing that you know for sure is that like he is a film fan.
Yeah, I mean he's the man was here from the dawn of the art form, and he's just consumes it. It keeps him alive, and will for years. Best live action short. A category that I really connect to. So I'm live action. I'm short. We got Feeling Through, The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, and White Eye. I don't know any of these, per usual, but I am going to go with The Present because there's no time. Like The Present.
There's no time at all.
There is no time. We just went over that.
I did notice that Phil's eyes lit up when you read White Eye. So I think that might be.
I think we know where he's going to go. I mean, I talked about his poker face, but there's just some that he just has a reaction to. Don't you?
I do.
Yeah. You've texted me, but I don't read all of them all the time, buddy. I'm sorry.
I think that I'm going to go just because the title speaks to me with Feeling Through, because that's what I've been doing for the entire last year, just trying to feel through and figure out what the hell is going on.
I mean, sometimes I try not to feel it all. But.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, moving on to.
Phil.
Oh,
yeah, we know.
Sorry,
I
didn't.
No, we know it's what it is.
I know. I figured I kind of gave it away, and I'm sorry that I'm so I'm not used to having another person here, especially with someone of such stature. Like we've had guests on predictocast before, but they're usually our friends, and so we're comfortable with them. And I'm still a little nervous. That's all. I mean, we talked for like 2 hours before we started recording, so I should be comfortable, but I'm still just not comfortable.
I know, it's like having a ghost in the room.
All right, best animated short film. We've got Burrow. Which is a Pixar movie. I didn't see that. I'm surprised. I saw Soul, but I didn't see Burrow. Genius Loci, If Anything Happens, I Love You, Opera, and Yes People. So I don't know any of these. I'm just going to go with my gut and say Burrow just because I typically like the Pixar shorts. They're usually pretty cute, and the last few that I've seen have had nice messages in there. And so I'm going to go with Burrow.
I'm going to go with Burrow too. I think they'll just, Pixar wins a lot of these things. This isn't coming from my heart. This is coming from my logic bones.
Sure.
Deep in there, the marrow of logic and rationality at the very center.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's what I'm going with on that one. Phil, what do you think of this one?
I mean, a wealthy man decided to do his own thing.
You've seen them, we haven't.
Whereas now it's the corporate.
I can see that working out as well, honestly.
Government or it's local government.
All right. Next up is Best Costume Design. So we've got Emma, Mank, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mulan, and Pinocchio. So I've only...
How is there a Pinocchio movie?
I don't know. I mean, like we mentioned at the beginning, I don't know where this came from. I think it's the one with isn't the French guy
Roberto Benigni?
Yes, Roberto Benigni is in it, I think.
Wasn't that like or is it like another
this
one?
This is
of
a
those?
different one. I think he plays Geppetto in this one.
Amazing. The guy has so much range.
I think. I could be totally wrong, but I remember hearing about it, and I remember people talking about it briefly, but then I didn't hear anything else about it. I've only seen Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, but those costumes are pretty impeccable, though I did see some clips from Mulan, and those costumes looked amazing as well. I'm sure that the Emma costumes are really well done as well, and Pinocchio probably looks nice. So I think any of these has a good chance of winning. I think I might go with Emma just because those costumes did look pretty amazing from the few photos that I saw.
I'm gonna go with Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for the sole reason that it's the only title nominated in this category that isn't just one word.
Oh, all right. Well, that's an interesting option. And Phil, what do you have to say? I mean, I know which one you're not going to pick. Actually, there's at least two on here that you won't be picking.
I know, but he's a big fan. Yeah, Pinocchio.
Okay. All right. So moving on to Best Sound, we've got Greyhound, Mank, which I've learned is not about the bus line or the dog. So
what else is there?
It's about a ship, I think.
Could have named it something else then.
Yeah. So Greyhound, Mank, News of the World, Soul, and Sound of Metal. Now it's interesting here. You've got two Tom Hanks movies, Greyhound and News of the World. So do they cancel each other out?
I think they do. I think like,
I mean, he's not about the sound. Tom Hanks didn't do the sound for both of them, but
I mean, he creates sound when he talks.
That is true.
You know that Phil's a huge Sully fan.
Yes.
Love Sully.
Yeah, he wishes that could have happened over in his neck of the woods.
Oh, he would have been so impressed. Like, I mean, landing in the channel. Is that what you guys have over there?
But it obviously had, isn't it? I mean,
don't give me that look. I don't. Do you know what lakes? Whatever.
It just so happens.
So yeah, for me, I'm going to go with Sound of Metal because one, there's sound in the title, and the sound is great in that movie. It's excellent.
That is a strong logic. I'm going to go with Soul because it's the first time I've seen one of these movies in full.
Oh, okay.
So I have to pick it. And hey, I bought a vinyl record. That's a new technology, Phil. So like it's like a sousaphone kind of thing. The songs inspired by Soul, which is quite nice. Phil, what do you got?
I think the having followed
that's that's pretty sound logic, I think, in the reason that you're picking that.
All right, we got best original score. This one is not songs that are the score that they've made for the movie. I don't know. Just in case you guys don't know what these mean, I'll give you a little context. We got Da 5 Bloods. We have Mank. We have Minari. News of the World. And Soul. Once again, I'm going to have to go with Soul because I've actually watched Soul. And I feel like I owe it that because I gave it time. And it's about music.
That is true. I will say that the three, I've seen three of the films on this list, and they all have great music, which is Da 5 Bloods, Minari, and Soul. Really good scores across the board. I do wonder if the Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross double nominations will cancel each other out. The Minari score is really beautiful. The Five Bloods is great. So it's really hard for me to say. I did really like the Soul score, though. I think it's really excellent. So I think I'm going to go with that as well.
All right, Phil, what do you got? You can't pick Sully again.
I mean, we had lots of men in the street, but you don't understand. If you everybody's eyes, or at least it was the Americans, there weren't anybody else. 4 or 5.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, that's fine.
Best original song. We got "Fight for You." That's from Judas and the Black Messiah. "Hear My Voice" from the Trial of the Chicago 7. Next one's from Eurovision Song Contest. Phil, can you pronounce this one for me? Okay. We have "Scene" from The Life Ahead, IOC. And "Speak Now," "One Night in Miami." What is "One Night in Miami"?
It's a movie about yeah, that's it. That's all I remember.
Cool.
It's supposed to be good, though.
I'm gonna have to go to that song. How you pronounce it again, Phil? Okay, the one from the Eurovision Song Contest song.
Okay, I'm gonna go with "Fight for You." From Judas and the Black Messiah. I thought that was I don't totally remember it, but I do like that movie, and I liked most of what I heard in there. So I think that's the one for me.
All right, and Phil, what do you like on this one? Well, what do you don't like? Yeah, we all know. What do you like?
I mean, I feel like he wouldn't necessarily like any of these.
No, not really. I mean, he's more of a big band guy. That's new music to him. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah, well, okay. If he had to pick, I guess that's one to do. All right. Moving on to Best Original Screenplay. We have Judas and the Black Messiah, Minari, Promising Young Woman, Sound of Metal, and The Trial of the Chicago 7. So this is a point where I have seen 4 of the 5 nominees.
Wow, it's getting to be a crowded group.
Yeah, the only reason I have not seen Trial of the Chicago 7 is because I heard it was not good, and I'm
apparently he has one of the best original screenplays of the entire year.
Yeah, I've heard people, like film people that I respect, say that it's just absolute garbage and it's not worth really your time. So I have not dived into that yet. But the other 4 on the list, I can say, are all very good, and it makes it very difficult to choose which thing needs to be awarded. I mean, Judas and the Black Messiah is a really well written, well made movie. But it is sort of a biopic in a certain way, even though it's told in a really different kind of way than I've seen before. Minari is very much a immigrant sort of coming of age story, sort of, not exactly, but kind of. Promising Young Woman is kind of interesting in that it's telling a story of this woman who's sort of getting revenge for something, but in a really unique, well done way, and kind of a creative way, although I wasn't super happy with the way that it ended, even though I understand why it did in the way that it did. And then Sound of Metal is like literally something that I've never seen a movie like that before. I think it's just a really interesting, it's just an interesting like way to tell that kind of story. So I think that's what I'm going to go with, this Sound of Metal.
I think I'm going to go with Judas and the Black Messiah. I've heard a lot of great things from people I respect on that one, and I think this is where they reward that one right at this point.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. And Prince Philip, what do you got on this one?
You can't see most of them because they reflect, or there's a dial with a bright aluminium circles, so it blinds you. You can't see what's inside the dial.
I guess you didn't say Sully this time.
True. Good point. Phil always with the jokes. All right. Moving on to adapted screenplay. So we have got a fun one right up top, Borat's subsequent movie film, which is pretty amazing to see that being nominated for a screenplay. We have The Father, Nomadland, One Night in Miami, and The White Tiger. So I've only seen Borat and Nomadland. I think I just have to go with Borat just because it would be amazing if that won an Oscar. It's also a really fun, silly movie that like I had a good time watching, and it was pleasant. A lot of times when you see these characters sort of resurrected after a long period of time to try to recapture that magic or capitalize on that, like it doesn't totally work. And this one I think worked pretty well, and also sort of advanced the characters in a way that comedies don't often do. So I have to go with that just because it's so fun seeing it on the list of Oscar nominees.
I'm gonna go with Nomadland. I think I imagine there's a certain portion of people who wouldn't want Sacha Baron Cohen to do a speech.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, so there's that. Yes, Phil, I know. My Queen, very funny. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Nomadland here. It's been nominated for a lot of things, and I haven't picked it yet. So
it's a great movie. It's totally worth the nominations and a watch.
Perfect. So Phil, what do you got on this one?
So yes, so that was probably, to get it straight, that was very emotional.
Okay,
of course.
well, I can't argue.
I mean, you can't. He's literally the Duke of Edinburgh.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Let's move on to
best animated feature film. We have Onward from Pixar, which I saw like 10 minutes of. Over the Moon, Shaun of the Sheep movie, Farmageddon.
Didn't even know that was a thing.
Did no idea. Apparently, it's huge in yes, the UK. Soul and Wolfwalkers from Apple TV Plus. Gee, kids, what the hell is that? Anyways, it's not. Wolfwalkers won't win because if people still haven't found Tom Lasso, so they're not going to find Wolfwalkers.
I think it's Ted Lasso.
No, it's Todd Lasso. It's on Apple TV Plus. Who can tell?
I've heard so many good things about that show, and I've heard great things about Wolfwalkers, and it's just like I can't. And even coworkers were talking the other day about like, oh yeah, Apple TV Plus. There's some good stuff on there, and I was like, I just cannot bring myself to get another streaming service that has like one show on it.
I've now gotten a year and a half of it free for buying an iPhone a year ago, and they keep saying like, no, we're not going to charge you yet when the year's up. Can't do it. Can't open that app. I'm gonna give this one out to my my homie over there, Phil. We're gonna go with Shaun of the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, because that's I know the Shaun of the Sheep movies are well regarded, but that sounds like a direct to video Don Bluth movie.
Well, that's why it's direct to Netflix, because I don't think it would have probably done very well in a theater. I'm gonna go, since I've only seen one of these, I'm gonna go with Soul, because I really liked that movie a lot. I liked where it went, and I was not expecting the little segment where he becomes a cat for part of the movie, which I found delightful.
I am shocked that Onward came out this year. That
I
know
too.
It came out just
right before the pandemic. Yeah,
right. Like I probably would have taken my daughter to the movie theater to see that. Instead, last movie we saw has not been nominated for anything. Sonic the Hedgehog.
I'm surprised that was not nominated for Best Visual Effects.
I'm surprised too.
Or makeup for Jim Carrey's weird mustache.
When that movie came out, I got so many texts from Phil here about Jim Carrey's performance. Like he literally thought it was such a return to form that he would get nominated for like a supporting actor role. And I'm like, dude, Phil, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. It's not happening.
No,
yeah, I know. It's not happening.
Yeah. So, Phil, what is your take on this animated feature? I mean, I think we kind of know where you might go, but
not orange.
Oh, well, I was wrong. Very surprised by that.
Very surprised. I mean, Who knew that he actually uses Apple Plus? Must have a lot of free time in your hands. You can't move your hands. Okay, either way.
All right. So now we are moving into the actor categories. We are getting close to the end of the nominees here, and it's getting exciting. We're building up to Best Picture. But we'll start here with Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We have Maria Bakalova for Borat subsequent movie film. We have Glenn Close for Hillbilly Elegy. We have Olivia Colman in The Father, Amanda Seyfried in Mank, and Yoo Jun-young in Minari.
How do you go against Glenn Close here?
I mean, I've heard Hillbilly Elegy sucks, so
I mean, but still, it's Glenn Close. She's the voice of the Academy Awards.
Is she?
She does a lot of the voiceovers.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cronyism if they let her win.
Glenn cronyism. I don't think this one will be close. I'm taking Glenn Close.
Okay.
Put that on the box, baby. Ba-boom. Hey, Phil, I bet you're happy Megan's not nominated for anything, huh? What do you got?
I mean, I'm going to go with Maria Bakalova in Borat subsequent movie film, just because like she does so much work in that movie to humanize Borat in a weird way. Like, it's a comedy that is about this kind of idiot character, but like she makes him feel like a real person, which is so strange, and like something that like comedy movies don't, like a lot of times they don't do. They don't make their characters into real people, and like she kind of humanizes and softens him a little bit and like brings him into the 21st century in the way that Borat would be done. But it's pretty interesting, and I think it's great that she's been nominated, and she probably won't win, but like I'm happy that they are giving her some acknowledgement.
Oh, is Rudy Giuliani nominated for this movie?
Yeah, he's nominated for best hidden camera touching your dick shot.
God, man, Phil, you've been robbed of that a couple of years, haven't you?
I was in
I mean, I guess his choice in this role also sort of makes sense.
So best actor in a supporting role, Sacha Baron Cohen in The Trial of the Chicago 7, Daniel Kaluuya, Judas and the Black Messiah, Leslie Odom Jr., One Night in Miami, Paul Raci, Sound of Metal, and Lakeith Stanfield in Judas and the Black Messiah. We have double nominations, which is never good for any one of these things.
It's so there is some politicking going on here in this category, which I am not like a super fan of, because so tragically, we all know that we lost Chadwick Boseman. He passed away, and he is nominated in the Best Actor category. Don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but he's there nominated. And the fear, because the Oscars are racist, but also because the thought is that he will win in the Best Actor category. The film Judas and the Black Messiah did not nominate Lakeith Stanfield for Best Actor, even though he is clearly the lead in the film. Daniel Kaluuya, despite playing the sort of subject of the film, is very much the supporting character. It's through the eyes of Lakeith Stanfield's character. He is the Judas in the title. So the fact that they didn't nominate him for Best Actor is very much like they're trying to potentially get something for their film between one of those two. But I feel like that's also a case where it could cancel them out, which is kind of disappointing. Because they're both very good in the movie, and I feel like if you had spread it from supporting to in supporting and main, like lead role, there might have been a chance for that. But I feel like it potentially will cancel each other out, and it just doesn't make any sense. So a lot of people have already talked about that, but the pervading theory is that they're going to give it to Chadwick Boseman because, one, his performance is excellent, and also because he passed away. So it's kind of a honoring this person who did do some good work, and who passed away prematurely, basically. So I'm a little iffy on it. I think both of them do a great job, but I've got to go with Paul Raci in Sound of Metal. He is amazing. I don't even think he's like a traditional actor, but he is a deaf advocate and also deaf musician, and he is just so good in that movie. Like, he is just heartbreaking in some of his moments in that film. Like, so he's definitely my pick.
I'm going to go with Sacha Baron Cohen because I didn't pick any of the Borat categories.
Okay.
So, and I hear the screenplay for The Trial of Chicago 7 is so good. Aaron Sorkin knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, apparently.
So,
Phil, so where are you leaning here on the best actor in a supporting role?
It needs to be more classical, which is a function. But
I mean, I understand why you picked who you picked. I don't know if I don't know if I feel great that you agree with me for a very specific reason, but I mean, what can you do? All right, so moving on to Best Actress in a Leading Role, we have Viola Davis from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Andra Day from The United States versus Billie Holiday, Vanessa Kirby from Pieces of a Woman, Frances McDormand in Nomadland, and Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman. So this one is interesting because I feel like, man, Frances McDormand, I think I just got to go with her because she always does a good job in whatever movie she's in. But like, man, she does kind of knock it out of the park in Nomadland. She just does so much with just her face and like just glances, and I can't say that she shouldn't win it. But like, Carey Mulligan also does a really great job in Promising Young Woman. So I'm kind of torn between those two, but I think I got to go with Frances McDormand.
I want to go with you on this one. I'm a fan of Frances McDormand. I really want to read that as McDormadland that she was in. I think there's some symmetry between her last name and the name of the movie.
It's the Frances McDormand theme park.
I would go. I'm sorry.
I would too. It would be great.
The snacks there would be great.
It would have a ride for all of her performances.
All of them.
Yeah.
Phil, would you go to McDormandland? All right. So what do you think here? What are you picking, Prince Phil?
That was quite, but there was so much going on, and there was so much shooting, and everybody's rushing about, and noises everywhere.
Okay. It's out of left field, but I like it.
All right. Well,
I like that you're going big.
Okay. Cool.
So, Best Actor in a Leading Role: Riz Ahmed from Sound of Metal, Chadwick Boseman from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Anthony Hopkins from The Father. I think he's the first person. Is he the first person from a movie we have done that's on this list? We
have not done The Father.
No, like Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, maybe. Actually,
we can't. We don't have time to go back down the list.
No, I think you might be right though. I didn't recognize anyone from anything else that we've done. Like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm almost positive that he might be the first. He might be the first actor who's been nominated for Oscars, and I think won Oscars. That we have talked about.
Well, he's the father of the prediction masters. We've got Gary, my buddy Gare, old Gare, Gary Oldman from Mank, and Stephen Yeun from Minari. So on this one, oh god, my heart wants Chadwick. I can't separate it. I can't.
Yeah.
I have to pick Chadwick. I literally can't.
Yeah, I think that's...
Phil, you fucking asshole. But I can't. Like, I have to pick him. There's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have to pick him too. I mean, it is absolutely terrible that we lost him so young. Like, he had so many more years ahead of him.
He's so great. Just fucking painfully shocking.
Yeah.
And Phil, Hopkins or Oldman? Which one are you picking?
Okay, well, I mean, either way, we're not surprised. All right. Next up is Best Director. So we've got Thomas Vinterberg for Another Round, which I've heard is good, as I mentioned. David Fincher for Mank. Lee Isaac Chung for Minari. Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. And Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman, which is great that is nominated, because that's not typically a movie that the Oscars tend to nominate. It is kind of verging on horror a little bit. It doesn't quite go into that territory, but it does sort of, it flirts with those things for sure. So I'm very surprised that they are nominating this. I'm happy that they're nominating it. And in this case, I feel like it's going to be between Nomadland and Mank as far as like who they're going to go with, but I'm going to go with Emerald Fennell just because I would like to see her win. I think that would be a really interesting thing to have happen, and you know, if it happens, that would be amazing. I don't think it will, but I'm going to go with that as my, like, this is sort of my throwaway, like, wish it would happen nomination.
I kind of already used mine to a degree. It might happen on Best Actor, but like, if I'm going to be like coldly calculating, like certain princes are, I'm going to. It sounds me when I say this is the least interesting choice, but I feel like they're going to want to give David Fincher Best Director.
Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, it's a movie about movies, about making movies, so it feels like that's kind of the way that they're gonna lean.
Yeah, it just, I don't know. There's some very good directors here, and Fincher is clearly good. It's just, and interesting choices. I don't know. Best directors one that they don't often. It's often rewards. It's often like balanced on what's going to win Best Picture. It's just a hard one to pick based on like almost anything besides like you're kind of gaming, like what system are they using, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Prince Philip, where are you going with this one?
I mean, all architects wear ties with horizontal stripes, for instance.
Well, I mean, not surprising, but yeah. All right. Well, we are at the end, and I wonder if we should let our guest do the last set of nominations.
I think, you know, we weren't allowed to ask him too much. We want to put. They're telling us, his handlers are telling us that he's in fantastic health. They don't want to push him too long. He's had some rough months recently, but he's looking strong and great. Sunglasses help a lot. But I think this is the peak of the show, and I think it's time to let him really do his thing.
I think the having followed the I wasn't paying much attention, and where I don't know how else. And in fact, it was, and the Americans, and they were off. So
okay, well, that is a lot of films. I was looking at the list as he was reading through them, and I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 8 nominations. So that puts me up a little bit. I will probably watch Mank at some point before the ceremony. I know we have like a month before the ceremony happens here. Right. And I'm interested in The Father because I did just see an interesting tweet that says like, if you're a horror fan and you haven't seen The Father, you should watch it, which like really intrigued me because I was like, I didn't think that it was a horror movie. And then I briefly looked up the description, and it's about a person who's sort of starting to lose their grip on reality. And apparently it's very, interestingly done. So I'm kind of interested in watching that. I just don't have any desire to see Trial of the Chicago 7. And I probably won't watch it. So if it ends up winning, I'll feel like a real fool. But
I no spoilers, but I don't think it's going to.
Yeah.
From my ability to look at the future,
as a predictor master.
As a predictor master.
Yeah. All right. Well, for me, this is tough. I feel like, as I already mentioned before, Hollywood likes to reward Hollywood. So I feel like Mank has a really good chance of winning because it's a movie about making movies, about making one of the most famous films ever. Hollywood does like to circle jerk itself quite a bit. I think across the pond, they enjoy that too. But I don't know. Like, I feel like I would love for Sound of Metal to win. I think that's a movie that of all the ones I've seen has stuck with me the most. Just because of how the story is told. It's a very simple story, but it's told in a really interesting way that kind of really resonated with me. It would be amazing if Promising Young Woman won, but I just don't see that in the cards for that film. Like, they will regularly give nominations to these things with no intention of ever rewarding them.
Especially with the larger field now.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't understand. Like, they opted to open up Best Picture for up to 10 films, and yet we don't nominate Da 5 Bloods for anything but music and screenplay, right? Like, yeah. I don't understand that. The fact that, like, Delroy Lindo was not nominated for his performance is 100% criminal. Like, he is amazing in that movie, and the fact that he doesn't get anything for it, like, is just kind of insane. Like, I am baffled by that. Like, it doesn't make any sense, and the fact that they didn't nominate it at all is crazy. So I'm a little confused by their decision making when it comes to, like, the amount of like space that they have on this thing. It's like they just sort of randomly decide, like, oh, I guess we'll do this many
8
movies this year, and we'll do 9 this other year. Oh yeah, it didn't even get screenplay. Like, it only got Best Score, The 5 Bloods, which is crazy. That movie was much better than what the Academy is saying that it is. It should absolutely be on the Best Picture list, if not at least giving of the actors some nods.
It's no Trial of the Chicago 7.
Apparently not. Jesus Christ.
Watch that. Like, we've been shitting on it all the time. With our expanded audience, because Prince Philip's on the show, we get, like, a bunch of people who are huge fans of that movie who write into us, or it fucking sweeps everything.
Yeah, that's possible. I'm going to go with the movie that has stuck with me, though, and that's The Sound of Metal. So that's the one I'm going to pick. I know it probably won't win, but I'm gonna see what happens.
For me, first off, I was distracted for a little bit when I was trying to look up if Thomas Vinterberg's Another Round was a sequel to John Cena's 12 Rounds. It's not.
And that is disappointing.
It is.
I mean, there have been sequels to 12 Rounds, but I don't think any of them have starred Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh, that's all I can think of now. Is a John Cena, Mads Mikkelsen movie, action movie.
Give it time. Give it time. Yeah, because I bet if the Suicide Squad does well, then, you know, John Cena's already got that little spin-off TV show coming to HBO Max at some point from his character in that. And then if he kind of continues on and, like, they get Mads Mikkelsen, who's already been in some Marvel movies, he could be in a DC movie as a bad guy or something, or one of the random Suicide Squads. So it's only a matter of time before he and John Cena are in a movie together.
Like, I mentioned that, and, like, Prince Philip's sunglasses just popped up, like, whoop. Like, he was so, like, he knows that's money.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's aware.
But, like, as far as this list, like, I don't know. For me, it's between Judas and the Black Messiah and Mank. Mank for all the reasons you said. to get my score up, I'm gonna pick Mank as like picking the number 1 seed in the March Madness tournament. I don't know anything about college basketball, but like, hey, probably the best team's gonna win. I don't know. Like, it seems like the movie they would give, even though it has just the worst name. Jesus Christ, Mank. That's halfway to a Pokemon's name.
Mank is dank, say the kids.
They do say that. So, Prince Philip, you read off the nominees. This is it. You've watched all these movies. What do you think? What do you think is the Prince of the movies?
And then,
Well, I mean, it's no surprise that he went with that. It'll be interesting to see how it comes together on the big day, which again is about a month from now when we're recording. It's on April 25th this year, pushed out a little bit. We're recording this in March, shortly after the nominations have come out. But I'm excited to see, where everything goes.
Yeah, I'm excited they pushed it back. I'm sure the pandemic will be over by then. And I'm interested, maybe we'll have Prince Philip on after the show and see what his reactions were to it, having watched it live.
Yeah, we can do like a post wrap up, maybe like an episode that kind of goes back through our picks and kind of sees what what we picked and how right we were. We can kind of do a post-mortem.
Yeah, I'm sure the prince slumped over a little bit when we said that. Like, he just kind of fell forward a little bit, but I think he's just shitting with us to make us feel bad. Like, oh, I don't want to be with you guys again. But hopefully next year you're with us for the big 100. You're older than you're older than the Academy Awards themselves.
Is he? How many Academy Awards have there been?
Let's see. Shouldn't it be in the name?
No, because it's the year.
There's 2020. There's 2021.
No.
What Academy Award is it?
It's the 2021 Academy Awards, and they started in the 19.
It's the 94th.
Oh, okay. So we're getting close. 2029 will be the 100th.
Yeah. So he'll always outpace.
Yes.
They'll never outlive Prince Philip.
That is true. Well, thank you all for joining us for this very special Oscar prediction special. We know that the show is on hiatus currently, but we didn't want to leave you without a Oscar prediction special. We've done it every year since the show began, and so we didn't want to go out without keeping with tradition. We're very happy that we were joined by this amazing guest, Prince Philip. Thank you, Skinner, for using your connections to get him on the show to bring some class to our regularly classless program.
Yeah, I'm really glad to get somebody with a real dignity on the show, like Prince Philip. Thanks for dropping in.
And I can't wait to see how the show plays out. But I think that's going to do it.
I really hope someone sings a hilarious song about masks.
Oh, let's
see our masks. See our masks.
Oh, you know what? God,
can't drink from our flasks.
That's better than what will actually be on the show. But I think that's going to do it for this special episode from all of us here at predictocast and our great guest, Prince Philip. Have a wonderful time at the movies when it is safe to go and you have been vaccinated.
Enjoy the magic of the night where the sky is dark because all the stars, well, hopefully some of them are zooming in, but the rest are safely distanced at the Kodak Theater. They won't be. I know they won't.
And you stay safe, Prince Philip. Stay alive.
Yeah, stay alive, my friend.
I suppose